Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, I will begin the start of a new Iceberg series on magic. This Iceberg will be covering various magical things, not just magic spells or rituals, but all sorts of things relating to magic. The first two layers will be covered in this video, but as I progress through the iceberg, it'll get more and more detail oriented, since the topics will get more specific and obscure. If you don't know what an iceberg is, the top is most well known for characters in my universe, and as you go down, it gets more obscure, sometimes more creepy. With that said, let's begin with Layer 1. Layer 1. This information is common knowledge, the core basics of magic. People who are ignorant of these basics usually don't last long. The definition of magic. Magic starts off as an element known as pure magic, which is common throughout Nerun. This pure magic is usually tame and unreactive until it comes across a living organism. Once it enters a living organism, it becomes unstable. This allows for it to be manipulated into proper magic, which can be used in various ways. However, magic, both pure and non-pure, is volatile, and if used or manipulated incorrectly, it can lead to various effects, which often leads to death. Fun fact, when an area contains a lot of pure magic, it could sometimes give off a blue color in the air. Certain areas with high amounts of pure magic can be anywhere from a slight blue tint in the air all the way into a heavy blue fog, depending on the level of pure magic in the air. Magic potential. Magic potential is simply how much magic someone can handle at once. It is called magic potential because it shows just how much potential someone has in the magical field. Magic potential could be raised through vigorous training, which can oftentimes be time-consuming and physically exhausting. Thus, many have developed ways to artificially raise their magic potential, but some of these experiments lead to disaster and death, some of which will be covered throughout the iceberg. Magic exhaustion. Magic exhaustion occurs when someone uses too much magic at once. Using magic is much more physically draining than what it would seem at first, as it requires your body to work in order to shoot out spells, practice rituals and religious ceremonies, and other magic practices. Magic exhaustion can become dangerous as it can exhaust someone in the heat of combat to a point where adrenaline cannot keep someone up. Magic exhaustion can cause a variety of effects, including sicknesses, the weakening of the immune system to diseases, paralysis, and death. So, if you are a spellcaster within Nerun, do not push too far above your weight. Magic resistance. Magic resistance is what the name says, the ability to resist magic. Ironically enough, the only way to resist magic is with magic, or at least magical items. There are many artifacts and spells which can be used to resist magic. However, this field of magic can become very strange, as many worlds, including parts of Nerun, are considered magical in nature. And because of this, some techniques that involve magic resistance can lead to strange ways to manipulate reality itself. Spellcasting. Spellcasting is difficult to explain, since it requires senses that we simply do not have. However, to simplify, in order to cast spells or use other forms of magic, spellcasters have to channel magic throughout their body in various ways. This also heavily involves the brain and consciousness, and even the soul, or souls, of an individual. As mentioned before, it can be very physically straining on the body, and in many cases, it can exhaust a user, bringing them to magic exhaustion. Fun fact, most spell techniques and methods are actually instantaneous. This means that casting a spell sometimes can take as little as milliseconds to cast. Information overload. An information overload is when someone takes in too much knowledge at one time, and it doesn't even have to be magic, though in most cases it is. The soul and mind have a limit to how much knowledge can be taken in at once, as it has to gradually expand the amount of information it can take in. If someone is overloaded with information, it can swell the brain to an extreme amount, which oftentimes is severe pain. Which oftentimes can cause severe pain or death, which can sometimes be when the head literally explodes due to the concentrated magic contained within the brain. We now reach Layer 2. Here, we can see the basic schools of magic. These are the main categories of spells that one can choose between. Most will know at least a few of these spells, even in daily life. Main schools. The main schools of magic are largely considered to be destruction/war magic, restoration/healing magic, mysticism, and alteration magic. To oversimplify, destruction magic destroys, restoration heals, mysticism is the alteration of one's own body, and alteration is the alteration of the physical world around you. These schools of magic are the core basics of much of the spells within Nerun, including things such as fire, ice, healing wounds, and much more. These schools are not actually real, only a way to differentiate spells and their effects. Illusion. Illusion magic is a major school of magic, but it is lesser known in the grand spectrum. Illusion magic, sometimes known as soul manipulation, is the manipulation of both the conscious and subconscious mind. This magic can be used in a variety of ways, including to control a person's emotions, feelings, way of thinking, and much more. These spells can be very difficult to learn, but once learned, they can have great influences over the minds of people and animals. This is high up on the list, due to it being one of the main ways that people can calm down others, or for those who wish to manipulate those into their will. Conjuration. Conjuration magic, oftentimes known as summoning magic or Shevku magic, is quite complicated, but it regularly involves the summoning of entities known as Shevku, which are similar to demons. However, it does not just have to be summoning Shevku. Conjuration magic can allow you to make contracts with various monsters and entities, which allows you to gain knowledge and power from them, to have them fight for you, and more. Many regions across Nerun are skeptical of conjuration, with some forbidding it, especially with its ties to Shevku. However, other places are open to it, and some even embrace it. Necromancy. Necromancy is the magical art of raising the dead to fight for the necromancer. Necromancy is actually a part of a much wider magic school, oftentimes known as soul magic, as necromancy literally involves creating a fake soul in order to put into the body in order to give it enough energy to do basic movements and such. Oftentimes, these fake souls are bound to the necromancer, making them effectively slaves. Well, mindless slaves, actually. Most of the time. Necromancy, of course, is very controversial in many societies, especially those that have the strict rules about how to treat the dead. Most importantly, Necromancy is oftentimes the first step in order to learn much more complicated magics, including soul magic and reviving people, both of which will be mentioned later on. Archwizardry. This is going to be a very simple entry. This just refers to the fact that some people are able to become masters of many magics at once, if not all schools. There are many examples of famous wizards, mages, and other spellcasters that are able to master many fields, either through decades or centuries of training, or through more unconventional ways. But usually, it takes decades, if not centuries, for people and other mortals to understand magic. We now reach the final entry. Portal magic. Portal magic simply refers to the use of portals. There are various ways to summon portals, and the ways to summon them depend on how big the portal is, and if the portal stays within the realm, or if it travels between realms. These portals, that sounds weird, can be used to send messages through, teleport people from alone. Dude, this is not a great entry for me. From one location to another, through invisible wormholes, and even transport people through realms. I hope you enjoyed my first Magic Iceberg video. Tell me what you think about this in the comments. If you're interested in more, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more. With that said, have a good day or night, and I'll see you all another time. I hope you enjoyed my first Magic Iceberg video. Tell me. Yeah, just tell me, okay? Necromancy. I can't believe I just said it like that. That's so weird.